This should be played at high volume, preferably in a residential area.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
1, 2, 3.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Maastricht edition live on Facebook. Tonight we are joined by the lovely Anita Kovacs, who'll be talking to us all about herbal remedies, and we have our usual fun and games with This Day in History, Matt Goes Dutch, and Tracy's Tidbits, so make sure you stay tuned.
Yay! Good evening, everybody. Here we are again at the Maastricht edition. Hope you are all well, and I hope you're staying warm because, oh my goodness, it's getting a bit chilly.
Summer? Is it still summer? August?
Okay, let's just go back a bit there, Matt. So what do you mean still summer? Have we actually started the summer?
There was a few days of nice weather, right?
Yeah, I can't remember.
I think it was back in May or something. Wasn't there 1 week where it was like 35 degrees for a while? But now it's rather nippy now.
It is rather nippy, yes. I've been getting my gym jams on in the evening. So
yeah, the jimmy jams on.
I have the jimmy jams on. And of course the nights are actually drawing in, aren't they? So, and I measure this by when I feed the goats. So for all of you out there who know that I have my 5 little goaties out in the back garden, I give them some food just before bedtime, which is usually when the sun is just going down. And of course, a few weeks ago, that wasn't until maybe 10:30, 11 o'clock at night when it was getting dark. But now, yeah, I'm going out there between 8:30 now because,
Indeed.
It's starting to turn.
There we go. Well, it is almost September. We've got 1 more week of August
That's
to go.
true.
And then, I suppose it's, goodness me. Well, time has gone by pretty quickly this year.
Now, for Matt, of course, it's an hour earlier because
Indeed.
he's
Very
actually in the
confusing.
UK.
I am.
Where are you, Matt?
I'm in Wales.
With Tom Jones?
Yeah, he's just up the road. Saw him earlier.
Oh, nice. You look
Didn't you ask him to come on the
excited about
show?
Oh no, he's very private these days. He doesn't.
What about
really-
Shirley? Shirley Bassey, is she around?
Yeah, she's down the other street.
You are such a liar. She lives in the south of France.
Yeah, sometimes she comes to our house she has here in lovely, warm, sunny Wales.
Yes, of course she does.
Nice.
So you're having a visit in Wales at the moment, and how is it?
It is cold, wet, and grey.
Excellent.
Well, the
So
food's
glad I
good.
asked.
There's cheddar, there's tea.
There's cheddar and tea. What more do you
I'm
want,
happy.
Tracy?
Yeah.
Sounds
Okay.
good, Matthew. Yeah. And your
And more
travels
bourbon biscuits.
and more bourbon biscuits and custard creams, dare I say. And how did it go with the travel? Because this is kind of one of the first times you've been out of the country now since all the COVID stuff,
Exactly.
Yeah.
What was the
We
process like?
flew from Manchester, which was fine. No, we flew to Manchester.
To Manchester.
To Manchester.
It was fine. All good. You had to wear your mask on the plane and everything. And
And what about
Right.
Amsterdam, though? So just talk us through the process of going into the airport, going through, and actually getting on the plane.
well, it's all normal, as you normally would. But if you want to come to the UK, you have to make sure you prepare in advance and have all the right forms and tests and everything completed. Otherwise, like some passengers on the day, you'll get turned away at the gate. They'll go, no, sorry, you've not booked your day 2 test in the UK. You can't come on the plane. And there were a couple of people, and there were quite a few arguments with the poor woman on the desk. So yeah, make sure you check what you need.
So you have to have a day 2 test pre-booked before you get on the flight?
Yeah, if you're fully vaccinated. Otherwise,
Okay.
if you're not fully vaccinated, you also need to go into quarantine and have a day 8 test as well.
See, this is the kind of thing that puts me off, Tracy, because there's too much going on here. So the pre-booked test, do you have to go somewhere to have that, or do you do that at home?
No, they post it to you.
They post it to you, you have the test, and then you send the results in?
Yeah, it's posted back,
Okay. And then you wait for the results?
which is very quick, actually. It came the next day.
Oh, okay.
Worked quite well.
And so while you're waiting for that, you have to stay in the house?
No, it makes no sense. You
Uh-huh.
can do whatever you want. You still have to do the test.
How strange. So it's just
yeah,
ticking a box, really. Oh,
yeah.
gosh.
Oh my God.
Indeed.
And coming back, what
No one
happened?
even checked. You know, like they kept going on about you have to have a double vaccination, then you get the certificate on your phone, the app.
Yeah.
No one checked. Nobody asked.
No.
Really?
Wow.
But obviously, you have to have it just in case they do ask you for all this stuff. But no one actually like checked it. So
I would have thought that would be the first thing because they've, you know.
I did. I was like, I had it ready. Like, no, I don't need to do that. I need the other thing. I was like, oh, okay.
Because now on the one in Netherlands, you've got it. A Netherlands, a Dutch one. There's also the international one. You can flick between the two on your app. So
But be careful, everyone. You also need to do a Dutch health declaration for some airlines. Not for my airline, but other airlines. When we got there, and there was a sign saying, please make sure you have all these things ready. And we were like, okay. What?
check.
Health form? And then we looked the health form up, and they're like, okay, not for your airline. I was like, oh, right, okay. Heart attack over.
Goodness me. I think the key is to research as much as possible before you go to the airport to avoid the stress. Because you can imagine if you're turned away, that probably really sucks. But yeah, good that you were relatively prepared, Matthew, and had a good enough journey. Yes, hurrah!
Well, if any of our listeners out there have also been travelling, we'd love to hear your stories as well. You know, how you're getting on with all these tests and going backwards and forwards, your experiences. Because this certainly puts me. Not that we have any plans to go anywhere, but if we did, I think this would kind of put me off a little bit. And so they put all this Baroxy in and then don't use it. That's ridiculous as well. So, okay, well, hopefully it'll be a nice, easy ride for you when you come back as well, Matt. But I've just noticed while I'm sitting here, I'm scratching. Okay, I've got a bit of an itch, and the reason I've got a bit of an itch is because I've been bitten by a mosquito. Now, this kind of ties in with International Mosquito Day tomorrow. Can you believe there is an International Mosquito Day?
Is it like to celebrate them or to like hate them, or
what is there to celebrate?
I don't know.
No, I don't know either. And they absolutely love me. And this time of the year actually I say this time of the year, it's been very moist this year, hasn't it? There's been a lot of humidity, and they love humidity. And when they're buzzing around in this humid environment, then they spot me, then they text each other and say
come together. Yes, they tend to gather around water parts as well, so lakes and rivers and little ponds and things. But I do believe it also comes down to the blood type. I'm convinced that there's do you happen to know your blood type, Joe?
Yes, it's called wine. And I think that's what it is. Mosquitoes like wine.
I see. Okay. Well, I'm A negative, and they do tend to like A negative as well, evidently. So, yeah, I read that somewhere once that certain blood types are more tasty for the mozzies. Whether
some people are more attractive than others, because, like, I always get bitten, but Jacob never gets bitten.
There you go.
I have this argument, like, I'm like, you're not opening the window because I'm too hot. No, you're not opening the window.
There you go. I have the same. Dave, mozzie bite free. Meanwhile, they feast on me, which is, so who knows? Maybe maybe we're just lucky, Matthew.
Maybe.
Well, I've depended. It seems to depend for me. It depends on the mosquito as to what sort of reaction I get. Sometimes I just get a little bit of an itch, and then other times I get these really nasty blisters, and it's all very nasty and everything. Oh, Susan's in that. Susan Marshall in Australia. She's in the house. She says we send our mosquitoes north for the winter.
Oh,
very wise. Yeah.
Well, I've got some remedies here. If anybody else has got any remedies, we would love to hear them. I've got some remedies here, apparently for mosquito bites. But I have to tell you about Alaska and mosquitoes. They happen to have mosquitoes there the size of elephants. They are humongous. They're almost classed as the national bird over there. They are so big. They're absolutely huge. So if you go to Alaska, get that spray on. In fact, wrap yourself up in a bag. That's the best thing. Wrap yourself up in a bag. That would be my recommendation. But look, I've got some stuff here that apparently is going to help you if you've been bitten and you're getting some, it's itching and you can't get to sleep. Oatmeal, so porridge oats, if you will. Mix it up into a paste with some water. Slap that on for about 10 minutes. Apparently, that's going to work. I can't imagine that's very comfy. I don't know. Crushed ice.
Well, oatmeal is often used in face masks, in fact. So it's actually, there's some logic behind
Okay,
that. I would imagine.
there you
It's
go.
got a calming properties. So.
Okay, fair enough. Crushed ice we have.
Ooh, okay, probably to cool the area, I suppose.
I would think so, yes.
Mhm.
Honey. Apparently the sugary substance is quite common among home remedy enthusiasts anyway.
Natural antiseptic, the honey, apparently.
There you go.
Apparently, I know a lot about these mozzie cures.
Apparently you do. I think there could be a sideline here for you, Tracy.
Who knows? Carry on. What else have you got?
We got aloe vera.
Aloe vera.
And it just so happens I bought an aloe vera plant today. I've still got it wrapped up. I've taken it out of its packaging. But I have some aloe vera.
It's like we planned this.
You'd think we had, wouldn't you? Really, we haven't. Baking soda. Now, a lot of people have baking soda in their kitchens. Again, mix it up into a paste. Shove that on. Apparently, that's going to work. Basil.
Yes, basil. Oh, funny you should say that.
Well, Tracy, don't tell me you've got some basil.
I just happen to be sitting here next to my favorite basil plant, who's actually called Basil. Funny that.
Original name you got there, Tracy.
Yes, indeed. Look at that. So it smells wonderful, I have to tell you. So one of my favorite herbs. We usually have one of these in the kitchen because it kind of we eat a lot of Italian-y type stuff, and it's often a good component. So
it's a good looking plant you've got there.
Yeah, very healthy.
Talk to your plants and herbs, people. It does make a difference, really. You know, they all have a name and they all get a chat every morning when they're being watered. I swear by it.
What exactly do you say to your plants?
Well, I say good morning and said name, you know, so there's Basil, there's Polly, there's Fern, and so on and so on. And I just say, oh, how are you? Here's some water. Have you got enough? Blah, blah, blah. Have a good day, and just kind of carry on. Just a little chat.
Just a little chat.
Yeah.
How long does this take you every morning?
Yeah.
Well, there aren't that many plants, but it's like a 5-minute tour with my water jug, you know, so just through the house. But they all do have names, but they all bloom. They really do bloom beautifully. So, yeah, very proud of my little indoor garden, I must say.
Oh.
There we are. Anyway, what else have we got? Vinegar. Oh,
Vinegar.
well, yeah, that would make sense.
Onion.
Mm.
And thyme.
Uh-huh.
Lemon balm. This sounds more sort of like a recipe for a nice meal, actually.
We're cooking up something.
You've got chamomile tea, garlic. I mean, look, all of this, a lot of this stuff
Garlic.
you're going to find in your house. You're either going to smell delightful afterwards, or you're going to smell bloody awful. So,
yeah, garlic or basil.
What do I do with the garlic?
Have you got some? Oh, you've got some garlic. Yeah.
What do I have to do with it?
Yeah. Well, again, you just there seems to be a common thread here. Actually, it's just mix it up into some kind of paste. So you want to chop it up. And mix it up maybe with like mince it with a little bit of coconut oil, and then rub that all over yourself.
Oh, lovely.
There you go. Nice. Give that a try. That'll keep the mozzies off you at night.
I think we should actually, when we get our guest on later, maybe she's got some top tips for us as well, because she's going to be talking about herbal remedies and such like. So we'll run it by her, Anita. Maybe she's got some ideas about how to calm those mosquito bites. But anyway, I think they are a pain for sure. A lot of us suffer from it. If you've got any ideas on how to get rid of or to calm those horrible bites, then do let us know. We've got our aloe vera, we've got our basil, we've got our garlic. By the end of the show, we're going to be all smeared up with all that smelling nice or nasty, depending on which way you look at it.
Indeed. Yeah.
In the meantime, though, I think it's probably about time we found out about Matt's review. Now, if I remember rightly, last week, Tracy, it was your choice. You decided to pick an album for Matt to review for this week. What was the album?
You are remembering rightly, Joe, and it was my choice last week. And I decided to pick the second album for Matthew from the fabulous Counting Crows.
You did.
I did, because first of all, I had chosen August and everything after, and then I chose recovering the satellites to tie in with the Perseid meteor shower that we had last weekend. See how I remember everything? There we go.
She does remember everything. I don't remember any of this.
I don't know. But in any case, yes, another fabulous album from the Counting Crows with some really good numbers on there, including A Long December, which they were quite famous for, and so on and so on. So I'm curious, because the first album that Matthew listened to, I think he actually quite liked. So let's see if it was a double whammy or if it was a complete disaster.
What do you think?
No, I thought it was good.
Oh.
I did enjoy it. I was here while I listened to it, so it was a bit of a different environment. I was relaxing. What was I doing? I think I was reading or something. No, I was preparing Matt Goes Dutch. That's what I was doing. Multitasking. There you go. So yeah, no, I thought it was quite a nice album. It was very, very chill. And I did recognize a couple of the songs, but I always forget what the song is.
No.
I think maybe it was that December one you were talking about.
I think it could be. That was one of the slower ones at the end. Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay, cool.
No, I enjoyed it. I thought it was good.
I assume you were cooking?
No, I was in bed.
Preparing Matt Goes Dutch.
Oh, sorry, you said you were preparing Matt Goes Dutch. Of course you were. Yes. So this was chilling with your headphones on, or was everybody else listening to it at the same time?
No, it was just playing on my phone.
Just playing on your phone next to you. Okay, just trying to get an idea exactly where you were. Okay, so out of 10 then, Matt, how many Matts do you give it?
I thought I would give it a solid 8.
Oh, that's good.
That's not bad at all. Not bad at all.
Excellent. Okay, well, that's good stuff. Well, yeah, we do know that this is a huge favourite of Tracy's, of course. Mm-hmm. She does love her Counting Crows.
I do love the Counting Crows, yes.
And as I mentioned, I think probably before, I was lucky enough to see them a couple of years ago at Pink Pop, and they were absolutely fabulous. So hopefully it won't be long before they come back.
Let's see.
With any luck. Okay, well, that's brilliant. I'm going to give you an album for next week then, Matt. And I'm bringing you right up to date with an absolutely brand new album. So rather than going old school, I was actually considering going back to maybe the 1950s at some point, but no, I've gone brand new. And the reason I've gone brand new is because, well, one of my favourite bands have just brought out a new album, and normally they're sort of semi-hard rock band, filling out their arenas. This time they've gone a little bit 70s funk, and we're talking the Foo Fighters. Tracy! Tracy!
I don't like the Foo Fighters.
I know you don't like the Foo Fighters, but I tell you what, this is a new album where they've got to try something different. They're channeling the Bee Gees.
Wow.
I know.
Well, that could go very well or hardly wrong.
Well, to me, it's gone very, very well. I was a bit sceptical because I was like, look, they have a lot of fun with their music, and if you watch their videos, they are quite experimental, and they do have a sense of humour with a lot of their stuff, and some of it is very tongue-in-cheek. But when the idea of this came out, I was like, oh, I don't know. I mean, I think Dave Grohl can get his groove on. When you watch him, he can definitely get his groove on, but this is maybe going a bit too far. But I played it this week, and you know what? I just let it run, and I let it run, and I let it run. And it was really, I think it's really, really good, really interesting. You've still got some guitar going on in the background there. It's not all sort of throwing some shapes on the floor like Saturday Night Fever. But yeah, it's good. It's good. So it's called Medicine at Midnight. So this is your album to review for next week.
Well, Matthew.
Okay. I will give it a try.
I'm going to be very interested to see what you have to say. I might even challenge Tracy to listen to it, actually.
Tracy might listen to it. Tracy will let you know what she thinks.
Oh, I don't know if I want to know what you think.
Medicine at midnight it is. I'm coming for you, Foo Fighters. Let's see. Maybe this new angle that they're going in might sway me in a new direction.
You never know. I don't think it's a permanent thing, to be honest with you. I think this was just sort of like a little side project. So, but yeah, it's going to be interesting to find out for sure. So there you go.
Cool. Awesome.
Medicine at midnight for Matt to review for next week. Edney's in the house. Hi, Edney. How are you?
Hello, Edney. I think you're right. Winter is coming. It's like Game of Thrones all over again. I wonder if anyone gets any Game of Thrones fans out there. Winter is coming.
Now, Tracy, you of course you don't use Facebook, but every now and then there's one of these questions that flies around. Am I the only person who hasn't seen Game of Thrones? Oh, right. And then all of a sudden you just get all these responses, thousands and thousands of responses, including one from myself going, no, you're not alone. I haven't seen it.
Dear, oh dear. Well, yeah, I have seen it. It's ever so good, yeah. But
it's very popular.
Hugely popular, and also very popular and very exciting is the next season of Cobra Kai is coming out on Netflix in December. Oh.
I have no idea what that is.
Oh, have you not seen the Karate Kid, the original Karate Kid? It's a spin-off of that, where you've got William Zabka, who's Johnny Lawrence, they're all grown up now and adults. It's fabulous, and it's always kind of with a little tip back to the 70s, 80s. It's very charming, very entertaining.
Oh, okay. I'm working my way through Peaky Blinders at the moment.
Oh, oh my God, Cillian Murphy, and he's from Cork. I'm from Cork. Just throwing it out there. But isn't he fabulous in it?
Oh,
I know.
Oh, if I was 20 years younger.
But there's a big movement now. A lot of young men are dressing like the Peaky Blinders.
Yes, actually, you would look very nice dressed like this.
Oh, too much effort. All the ironing you need to do.
Well,
just do it once. Just do it once.
Beautifully decked out, but fabulous. But they had a fabulous designer. She won many awards actually for the costuming on that show, and you can see it. It's so fabulous, but really good. Very good show. Quite violent at times.
Yes, some of it's a little bit.
Some of it's a bit like. Yeah, but ever so good. So definitely worth a watch as well. With these wintry evenings drawing in, if you want to binge watch, now's the time. Cobra Kai, Peaky Blinders, Game of Thrones, Stranger Things.
Oh,
ooh, that's also really good. Yes, Emily in Paris, Matthew. That's one of your favorites. Yeah. There's so many things to see.
Well, I'll tell you something else that we could do while we're watching all this is we could maybe take things down a notch, get a little bit relaxed. We could get into a big comfy chair. We could just put our feet up and slow down a minute before we start binge watching, because it is time for This Day. Oh my goodness, it's angelic. Today it is Thursday, the 19th of August 2021, and on this very day in 1887, Dmitry Mendeleev makes solo ascent by balloon to an altitude of 3.5 kilometers in Russia to observe an eclipse. Seems a bit extreme.
Yes, but wow.
Yeah, that's quite a long way. A few years later, in 1897, listen to what I'm saying here, the first electric taxi was driven in London. Electric taxi. 1897.
Why did it not catch on?
Oh yeah, why is it taking so long? I mean, really? 1900 on this very day, the start of the first and only Olympic cricket match in Paris. The UK beats France by 158 runs. I don't know what that means, but I don't understand why it was the only ever cricket match. Why do they not have cricket? Well, no, maybe I know why they don't have cricket, because it's so boring.
It's not as bad as golf,
isn't it? It's really it's too long.
Yeah, I don't know. Apparently, if you understand the rules, though, it can be very exciting.
Have you ever met anybody who understands the rules, Tracy?
An ex-boyfriend from many years ago did.
And that's why he's your ex-boyfriend. In 1909, on this very day, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, home of automobile race Indianapolis 500, opened in Indiana. It's all there in the name. 1913, Frenchman Adolphe Celestine Pegu makes the first parachute jump in Europe.
Ooh, I would love to do that once. A parachute jump. That would be cool.
That would be cool. In 1947, on this very day, Mr. Ahrens and Mr. Van Dorpen, I've got to be careful how I say this, because I want to say synthesize, but it's not. It's synthetize vitamin A. So they make vitamin A synthetically.
Okay.
They don't synthesize it. I'm having trouble with my teeth. 1953, back to the cricket. England regains the cricket ashes from Australia after winning series 1-0. Again, don't know what that means, but I do know it's a very big thing for the UK.
Oh, it's tiny. It's about this big.
Oh, it's not a big thing then. It's a little thing, but it's big in stat.
What? The ashes?
Yeah,
yes.
It's like this big.
Why is it called the ashes? I mean, really?
Didn't they like burn the wickets or something? It's the ashes of the wicket or something like
I thought it was after Arthur Ashe. Wasn't he a cricket player?
No, he was a tennis player.
Oh, tennis. Oh, well, that wouldn't be named after him then, would it? I don't know.
There is no hope. 1955, on this very day, the US raises import duty on bicycles by 50%. Can you imagine that here? Oh my God, they'd be rioting. Actually, they probably don't import bicycles here, do they?
I don't think they need to. Honestly, I've had a bicycle that's been on its last tires and they can still bring it back to life. So these, the Dutch know how to fix a bicycle. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's very true. In 1960, on the 19th of August, the Soviet Sputnik 5 carries 2 dogs, 2 rats, 40 mice, 1 rabbit, and some fruit flies into space. This is the first time that animals have actually returned alive from orbit. Now, look, this seems a bit odd. How did they come up with the numbers? And why fruit flies?
I don't know, yeah. It's a mind-boggling question, Sharon.
2 dogs, 2 rats, 40 mice. Why not 30 mice and 3 dogs? I don't get it. It's all bizarre to me. 1973, the Pirate World Music Radio in the Netherlands closes down after 10 years. Nice. And we're going to skip up to present day here. 2015, the US Food and Drug Administration approves the female Viagra libido pill. Mm-hmm. A year later, Tajikistan's Dilshod Nazarov throws 78.68 meters to win the men's hammer throw gold medal in the Rio Olympics, the first gold medal for Tajikistan in Olympic history.
Hurrah!
Whoa! Exciting stuff. 2018, one for Tracy. Limerick wins the All-Ireland Hurling Championships for the first time in 45 years.
Apparently it's a giant thing, and this coming weekend in Ireland there's a Kilkenny, I think, are playing Cork for the same award, and it's all they can talk about on Irish media right now. So come on, the Rebels!
Okay. I don't even know what hurling is. Is it throwing your wife around or something?
No, it's like hockey with the stick, and they carry the ball.
It's not really violent.
They're very violent. They carry the slitter and throw it. It's quite scary, actually.
I still rather like the idea that Matt would go running out with Jacob on his shoulder and see how far he could throw him.
That's tossing the kyber or something, isn't it? Yeah.
Tracy.
Isn't that a Scottish thing? Scotland, one of the Highland Games, no?
Yeah, it's for a lot.
Tossing cabers is one thing. Tossing Jacob is another thing entirely. I'm going to move on from that. Finally, in 2020, on this very day, Apple becomes the first US company to be valued at $2 trillion. Just 2 years after it reached $1 trillion in valuation. I can't get my head around that. That's just, those numbers are too big. Right, we're going to run through some birthdays here very quickly. In 1871, Orville Wright was born on this day, the American aviator. 1883, Coco Chanel, the French fashion designer. 1945, the lead singer of Deep Purple, Ian Gillan, was born. 1946, Bill Clinton, US president. 1963, Joey Tempest, who was kind enough to give us that awful song, The Final Countdown, Swedish rocker.
Countdown.
Oh God.
You know that one, Matt?
I do know that.
Oh, that's a shame. 1969, Matthew Perry from Friends. And here's one for you for the techie nerds out there, or Trekkie nerds, shall I say. William T. Riker, character on Star Trek Next Generation to Jean-Luc Picard's captain. He will be born on this day in 2335.
Oh, very cool. I like it.
And I believe, Tracy, there's also someone that's a little close to the show's got a birthday today.
Indeed. Well, we have many. We have also our techie trekkies as well, not just one but two. And one of them, the lovely Adam, I understand is online at the moment, in fact, because he's just said hello. And he was out with his lovely wife this evening, who I believe had a very special birthday. So we, from the Maastricht edition, want to wish Kapulchu, I hope that was right, a very, very happy birthday.
Happy birthday, sweetheart. And happy birthday to anybody else who's celebrating a birthday today. Hope you're having a lovely day. And this was that day in history. Thank you very much. Thank you. So coming up,
becomes like a Spanish thing eventually.
You got flamenco on us, are you, darling?
I have.
Olay. Coming up, we've got Anita Kovacs from Sana Folia, who's going to be joining us. She's going to be talking about all things herbal. So if you have any questions about how to treat certain... Oh, hold on. Basil.
Basil. We can talk about
Basil. What can you do with basil? Maybe she knows. Maybe she can tell us. There's 100 things you can do with basil. But if you've got any questions for her, then please do send them in. But before we get to Anita, I think it's time for some news, Tracy.
Yes, indeed. Let's do it.
Tracy Taylor with the news.
Yes, thank you, Joe, and good evening, everyone. It's August 19th, and you're watching the Maastricht edition on Facebook Live. First, a look at your weekend weather, and Friday and Saturday look set to remain dry with sunny spells and highs of 25. However, Sunday will see some thunderstorms and rain showers for most of the day. Moving to your news bulletin for tonight and our main stories. Afghans desperately seeking to escape the country have been told to leave Kabul airport by the Taliban after 12 people were killed there since Sunday. Taliban and NATO officials have said the deaths were due to either gunshots or stampede. Hundreds are still trying to flee Afghanistan via the capital's airport after it fell to the militants. The situation is increasingly desperate, with reports of mothers throwing their babies over barbed wire fences and begging British soldiers to take them away. 35 Dutch people were evacuated from Kabul and arrived at Schiphol airport last night. The group was taken by a C-17 military transport aircraft via Georgia, along with a number of other Europeans. The Dutch Defense Ministry wants to organize 3 flights a day. And the death toll from the devastating earthquake that struck Haiti last weekend has risen to over 2,000 people. The quake hit the southwestern part of Haiti, about 160 kilometers west of the capital, Port-au-Prince. Over 300 people have been reported missing, and rescue operations are ongoing, though many areas are still without help. And a wildfire that erupted outside California's state capital just a few days ago has exploded to cover 54,000 acres. At least 2 people had to be airlifted to hospital. Thousands of people have been told to seek safety as the fires continue to ravage El Dorado County. A teenager has been arrested in Sweden on suspicion of attempted murder after a man was stabbed at a secondary school in Elslöv in the south of the country. The injured man, who is in his 40s, and the school employee was taken to hospital with serious injuries. The male suspect is reported to be 15 years old and has been detained by police. The motive for the attack is unclear. And a man who allegedly stabbed his 9 months pregnant partner has been arrested for attempted murder, but will not face charges over the death of her unborn baby. The 23-year-old man is said to have attacked the woman at their home in Liège in Belgium. The woman is still fighting for life in hospital, but her baby did not survive. The suspect told police he remembered grabbing a knife, but forgot what happened next because he had been drinking. In other news, the coronavirus situation in the Netherlands has improved somewhat, and only 4 Dutch provinces, Flevoland, Noord and South Holland, and Limburg, are still coded red. The other provinces are now flagged orange. Risk levels are based on the number of positive coronavirus tests and the percentage of positive tests over the previous 2 weeks. And finally tonight, a cheetah named Kate, who has just given birth herself, has also successfully adopted 3 young cubs from another female who could not look after them. Although cheetahs do sometimes adopt cubs in the wild, this was a first for the Dutch safari park Beekse Bergen. The park coordinates a breeding program to help increase numbers of the endangered animal. And that's it for tonight. For more local news, you can follow RTV News in English on Facebook and Instagram. If you are a local business, be sure to check out the Support Your Local Business South Limburg Facebook page, a joint initiative between #Maastricht and the Maastricht edition. And if you want to discover events, concerts and cultural activities going on in Maastricht and the surrounding area, head on over to maastrichter.com. If a historical walking tour is more your thing, then check out Maastricht, the key to your city. And finally, don't forget that you can always find us on the Maastricht Edition Facebook page, on our YouTube channel, on Redbubble and on Instagram. And that's it for tonight.
Ah, thank you, Tracy. I'm glad you managed to find a nice little story at the end there.
No, honestly, I've been doing the news every week for quite some time now, and generally, you find a balance. But honestly, this week, the news is not, it's all pretty grim, to be honest.
It has been very, very grim, but you found a lovely little story to finish on there. It's very, very sweet.
Very sweet indeed. And you should check it out. There are some pictures online, and little mini animal babies are all just adorable. But there's something about the cheetah. There's like mini cats. They're so cute. So that's very good and very encouraging, because sadly, another endangered animal. So good to know that they're at least, being bred in captivity. At least it's a start, I suppose.
It is. It's true. Well, I think it's probably time that we get our guest on board. So let's get Anita from Sana Folia to come and join us, who's going to be, we're going to find out what she knows about basil and what you can do with basil.
Oh, yes. Let's find out.
I think she's with us now.
I think so. Hello, Anita.
Is she there? Oh, she's loitering in the clouds there somewhere.
I can see something, but I don't hear anything.
Oh, Anita.
Oh, we have such fun with our tech.
She's definitely there. Hopefully she's going to appear shortly. Oh, there's lots of hearts.
Oh, that's good. God knows we could all do with some extra love these days. So at least, that's already good.
I don't know if that broadcasts actually the hearts, but
I'm not sure.
No, we got lots of hearts on our screens here. So I think she's probably having some. There she is. Hey.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Anita. Welcome to the show. Lovely to have you here.
I'm so zero with technology.
Oh,
join the club.
It's been a huge learning curve for us this past year, I can tell you, that's for sure. So, there's not many weeks that go by with it being completely flawless. There's always something going on. So we need to start right at the beginning here, because you're going to be talking to us about something that most of us haven't got a clue about, that's for sure. But the reason we wanted to get you on the show was because you are going to be talking about your subject at the English bookstore at the end of the month. So we needed to find out more. So first of all, let's find out about you, where you're from, and how you got into the herbal business to start with.
I'm Anita. So I was born in Hungary, and I arrived in Belgium in 2004. And I became a naturopath in 2019.
Oh.
That's when I got certified. Before that, I already studied aromatherapy, chromotherapy, and I took advantage of the confinement to study herbalism, to specialize a bit more. because we do have herbalism classes in naturopathic training, but it wasn't enough to my taste.
Okay, awesome.
Well, I think nice. Sorry, Trace.
No, I was going to say a nice use of time to be very productive and study a little more.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think that's probably a common thread for a lot of people.
Sorry?
I think it's a common thread for a lot of people this past year, been learning a lot more, and probably actually learning more about herbs and remedies and such, because they've got time on their hands, and with COVID and such, like, people looking for alternative medicine. So what exactly does naturopath mean? I mean, what actually does it encompass?
Okay, well, it doesn't mean.
Okay.
We are not. A lot of people still think that it's quackery, that we are charlatans, or we play doctor.
Yes.
We are not trained, and we are trying to heal people still. So we do have anatomy training and physiology. We do study pathologies. And we also know the limits of this training. So we don't establish a diagnosis. That's not our task. That's the task of the doctor. But we do focus on the capacity of the body to heal itself. And that's the 5 principles of naturopathy. So first of all, we stop doing harm. So a smoker will try to give up smoking. Someone who is a binge eater will try to eat more mindfully. Someone who is ill because of stress management, rather a lack of stress management, we will do mindfulness. There are a lot of tools that can be used to regenerate the body.
Wow.
Okay, so this isn't about you taking a load of herbs, mixing them up in a porter and vessel, and then administering them in some kind of bottle.
Not necessarily, because we do treat symptoms. We can't heal someone without treating the symptoms. So if someone doesn't digest, we will support the digestion with plants, maybe even basil.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, look at that, Trace.
Look at that, a fine example.
The final goal is not to use anything, any support, and still be healthy.
Yeah. But it's well documented that there is a healing power in plants. And years ago, I believe, people were more in touch with what plants and flowers could do for you to heal a cold or to heal a wound or something. And along the way, us humans have lost touch with all of that type of knowledge, right? So this is also, people might call it new age or alternative therapy, but personally, I see a huge hunger developing, definitely online and so on, for these types of other treatments and more natural, back to nature remedies that people like Anita can offer you. So I think it's wonderful.
That's another principle of naturopathy, that everything is in nature for us to be healthy. We don't need synthetic aid.
So to be clear, this isn't about curing major diseases, but it's helping with the symptoms that you get from diseases.
It's create an environment for the body which allows the body to regenerate. So your skin is renewed every month. So if I see you in a month, you won't have a single cell in your skin, which is the same that was today.
Wow.
Okay, the bones take a little longer. They take 10 years, so 7 to 10 years, something like that. So basically, every 10 years, we are a brand new person. And this cell regeneration can go wrong. and it can go really well. When it goes wrong, we have a chaotic cell multiplication, and then we have cancer. And then if we choose another direction, then it goes really well, and we can preserve the body for a very long time in good health. And that's why I call it the medicine of youth.
Yes.
And that's why my motto on the website is a quote from Ashley Montagu. The idea is to die young, as late as possible.
Yes. Indeed.
Yeah, well, I wish, sometimes I wish my body would regenerate in a better way, that's for sure. But I have to say that having recently broken my arm, it is astonishing to me at how quickly the body can heal itself. Because as our viewers will know, I broke my arm a couple of months ago, and for the first week I had a cast on my arm, and then we took the cast off, and I said, you know what, I'm going to go without the cast and see how I get on. And you know, literally within a couple of weeks, I'm getting movement. You can see how well it's healing, and it's getting stronger. And I think, you know, all of us at some point, whether we've cut ourselves, broken something, you know, our bodies are quite magnificent.
Yes,
even without help, they're quite magnificent.
Yes, the body is programmed to heal, but we live such unhealthy lives. We are running around like headless chicken among our obligations, and we have to be at 4 places at the same time.
Yes.
We eat all the bad food that major supermarkets propose.
Yes.
We don't know what organic is. There is nothing in the soil. There is no more vitamin nowhere.
Yeah.
So
sorry, Trace.
I was going to say, it's a little bit of a disaster, really, because it's so true what Anita is saying. I mean, we talk about stress and anxiety and pressure and constantly feeling, you know, anxious, I suppose. And, you know, where did we go wrong? And is it too late for us to fix things?
We did go wrong after the World War. When antibiotics arrived, when intensive agriculture, intensive, what's it called? The animal, I forgot the word.
Yeah, they're overbreeding.
Yes, and the soil has been deprived of bacteria, of the bacteria that create B vitamin when we eat root vegetables, for example. The air is polluted, and I still believe that it's reversible.
Wow.
Okay, well, I think, I mean, we can't take away the fact that, you know, science has done some marvelous things as far as finding medicines to help cure us. And if we can find also in nature complementary medicines that can work alongside, that's fantastic. But of course, there is so much bad press out there for complementary medicines. How do you get around that with potential clients? So how do you convince them that this is the way to go?
This is not a good period for potential clients because people are so scared of the coronavirus and everything that was said in the media that they refuse to understand that the immune system is supported from the inside with food, with the right choices of food, with the right lifestyle choices.
Yeah.
And I saw it in an organic shop that when the whole pandemic started, they came to pick up essential oils to support the immune system. It's not enough. It's again, we are in the symptomatic treatment. There is not one essential oil which will compensate a bad immune system.
Yes.
There's no miracle cure.
Excuse me?
There's no miracle cure.
No, not even in naturopathy.
No.
No,
Okay. So
indeed.
if you were going to say to somebody then that there was an aspect of their life that they should focus on, whether it's digestion or mindfulness, for example, where do you think we should be focusing on at the moment?
At the moment, as there has been a lot of fear, I would focus on stress management, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Yeah.
what would you recommend people do as far as looking after stress management? What is stress management? What should we be doing?
Go outside, soak up the sun, breathe,
Mm-hmm.
eat well, take
Yeah.
your omega-3 supplement if you insist on a supplement, or eat omega-3, find omega-3 sources in food.
Yes.
Physical activity,
Mm-hmm.
which we were deprived of.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also, yeah. Indeed.
Okay.
It sounds so basic, doesn't it? But it's so simple. But
It's
even
common
nowadays,
sense.
yes, indeed. But common
Mhm.
sense sometimes just disappears in these weird times, doesn't it? But these are things that my grandmother used to tell me: get outside, go play, get some air, go walk,
Mhm.
go run. These kinds of, you eat your vegetables, this sort of stuff.
Yes,
But
basically.
yeah, these days of fast food and like, a pill for everything, it's almost the easier option to just
Mhm.
do that than to put some effort into diagnosing yourself and seeing what
Mhm.
you can do from the inside out almost. So
Yes, we are always responsible for what goes wrong in our body.
mm-hmm.
And as soon as we take this responsibility, we can heal the body. If someone refuses to take responsibility, they will keep on being ill.
Mhm.
Of course, you're part of the solution or you're part of the problem, right? Anita, may I ask?
Participative medicine.
Yes, participative medicine. Anita, if someone were to come to you tomorrow for a consultation and say, oh, I don't know, I'm having high blood pressure, I'm completely stressed, I feel I can't breathe, I'm always rushing. And if they were to receive a sort of prescription, for want of a better word, from you, how long do you think before they would notice changes in their body and in their mind? Would it take a few weeks? Would it take a few months? Would it be a quick solution?
I think if there are, let's say, regular consultations, like once a month for 6 months,
Mm-hmm.
there will be a new person at the end of the story.
Okay.
Wow, interesting.
Okay. Well, that's quite motivational. But of course,
And if the person applies,
go on.
if the person applies what I've been talking about, the common sense of not wanting to treat symptoms, but really concentrate on the causes and change what needs to be changed, then 6 months would be enough.
Well, of course,
Or
people that
even
come
less.
see you at the end of August at the English bookstore, you're going to be giving a talk there. So could you remind everybody what date that is?
The 28th of August, 2 p.m.
Okay. And do people have to make a reservation or can they just turn up?
I think they should write a message, an Instagram message to the English bookstore, in case there would be too many people than what's allowed. I take messages as well, so I can communicate with the bookstore.
Okay.
But there is no reservation as such.
And what can people expect when they come to see you? What will they be listening to?
I'll talk about what naturopathy is, the common misconceptions, because there are many. That we are all hippies who smoke weed, we are all anti-vaxxers, and so on and so on.
Yes, indeed.
I'll talk about the main tools of naturopathy, so herbalism and what the branches of herbalism, like aromatherapy. There's gemotherapy, which uses the young buds of plants, flower essences, and then I will also talk about geobiology and feng shui and the link of the two, how to create a healthy and harmonious environment at home.
Well, if people
going on there.
There is a lot going on, Matt. And if people can't actually make it to the bookstore at the end of the month and they want to get in contact with you, what is the best way?
Email, Facebook, Instagram.
Okay.
I have a web page. It was a blog, but I don't write articles anymore. But I stay active on the website. It's www.sanafolia.com.
Excellent. Well, we're going to put all of your contact details onto our socials at the end of the show. Anita, it's been a pleasure having you on. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
We wish you lots of luck with the talk at the English bookstore. We love those guys there. They've actually been on the show a few months ago. They do a sterling job. I'm sure you'll have a huge crowd come and join you. It's a fascinating subject, and we probably could have actually done a whole show on it. So maybe we can get you on the show again at some point. But in the meantime, thank you very much, Anita. Lovely to meet you, and we'll see you again.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Have a nice evening. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh,
very interesting.
Excellent stuff. So yes, she'll be at the English bookstore, and we love them at the English bookstore, of course.
Indeed, we do. Yeah.
They've always got lots of talks going on there.
Yeah, they do have quite a lot of stuff going on, and this one is not this week Saturday, but next week Saturday. So you still have time to reserve your place or to check out what's happening, and maybe pop along and spend a nice hour. And I understand there's also free nibbles and drinkies available. So
free food.
yeah,
excellent stuff. Yes, they know how to appeal to the masses. Isabel's in the house. She loves Anita, apparently. Paul's with us. Heather's with us. Hello, guys. Lovely to have you join us. You're just in time for Matt Goes Dutch.
Oh yeah.
Oh, well timed.
It is.
I hand wrote it this week, so now I have to decipher my own handwriting.
Always fun.
Yeah. So a few weeks ago, I was talking about Dutch inventions on Matt Goes Dutch, and I'm sort of going to go back to that because it was actually quite interesting. There's lots to dig up there. So I'm going to sort of combine it with looking at Dutch companies, because there's a lot of interesting Dutch companies that are international and very successful. And today I'm going to look at Philips, because, of course, everybody has surely heard of Philips.
Yeah.
Based in Eindhoven. So Philips actually invented audio cassette tapes, CDs and DVDs. So they're actually invented by a Dutch company, Philips, in the Netherlands. And they, of course, don't really use them anymore, but they did take over the world at one point and were really important in the development of music, and all these bands you are recommending for me wouldn't have been around without this technology that was developed by Philips. So Philips was founded in 1891 in Eindhoven by Gerard Philips, and it was financed by his father Frederick, who was a banker. He had lots of money, and they bought a disused factory, I think it was, in the middle of Eindhoven, which is still there today. It's currently in the Philips Museum, and they started making light bulbs. And it was a very successful company building light bulbs in the city, and you can visit the Philips Museum and see the process that they developed to make these light bulbs. So yeah, I'd really recommend that museum, actually. It's really interesting. It's in the middle of the city. It is a bit of like, a company museum, so it sort of promotes Philips and everything Philips does and how great Philips is. But it's also really interesting and worth a visit. And if you're into technology and industrial history, that sort of thing, it's a great place for a day out. So after they started producing light bulbs, then they went on and discovered how to make radios, vacuum tubes, I don't know what they are, TVs, vacuum cleaners, so lots of different, razors. They're really good with razors. So they developed lots of different electronic products. And then during the Second World War, most of the family fled to the United States because they were a Dutch Jewish family. And of course, they didn't want the Nazis to get a hold of the company and the company capital, so they fled to the US, took a lot of the company with them, just what they could. But Fritz Philips, which was, I think, the nephew of the founder of the company, he stayed behind in Eindhoven to run the company that was left behind. So the factories, there's lots of different factories in Eindhoven still there today, which have been converted into flats, into venues, into different things. And he stayed behind in one of the factories and convinced the Nazis to allow 382 Jews to work there in the factory because they were essential workers to keep the factory going and help the war efforts. And in doing that, he helped save their lives. So he was able to save hundreds of Jews. Sadly, he was incarcerated in the internment camp Vught, which is near Eindhoven. I don't think he died, though. I think he survived. So that's a really interesting side of the company history. It's really important to the development of Eindhoven. So if you want to know more about Eindhoven, to learn more about Philips. But then, so back to those inventions, which I spoke about at the beginning. So in 1963, they invented a compact audio cassette tape, which was originally for dictaphones for journalists and things like that, but then became used for recording music and later recording video. I think that was in the 70s when they developed the video side of it. And they also invented the world's first boombox, which I have no idea what a boombox is. I just recognize the name. Is it one of those things you put on your shoulder?
It's like a stereo system thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
So they invented that. And then in 1982, they worked together with Sony to develop the compact disc, which of course is the CD, and later then the DVD and the Blu-ray. So they were really important in developing that sort of technology. And so you can find more about it if you want a day out in Eindhoven and visit the museum.
Excellent. I didn't realise there was a museum there actually, so that's
it's right in the centre.
Okay. Oh, nice one. Okay. Well, they've obviously been very important, so there should be a museum. Excellent stuff. Thank you very much, Matt. Well, we're almost at the end of the show. Before we go, though, Tracy, got any titty bitties for us?
Yes, I have. First, in our new segment, Tracy's Tasty Titty Bitties.
Oh, yum.
So last week I recommended restaurant Wen Chao, and tonight, for this weekend, I would like to recommend Harry's of Maastricht, which is one of Matthew's former employers. So they've recently renovated the place. The new space is very beautiful. They're still offering the very same service and high quality food. You can go there for lunch, dinner, or Sunday brunch. It's all very fabulous, and it's truly one of my favorites in the city. So that's one of my little tasty treats to recommend. There's still a week to go for the Lumiere Open Air Film Festival. Okay. It's running until August 28th, which is next week, Saturday. So you've still got this full weekend and all of next week. If you want to go along and participate, it's still going on. And, even if it rains, they've got provisions in place. So lots of very interesting movies to check out there. So it's definitely worth a look and see how it goes. And finally, a little mention to the Dutch Kawaii store, which recently opened a little kind of section at the Oile Concept store here in Maastricht. Now, Kawaii is, of course, from the Japanese, which means basically the quality of being cute. And they sell all these cutesy kind of Japanesey things like anime stuff, and also they even have manga stuff, which is very groovy, and little kind of cuddly toys and Pokemons and all that kind of stuff. But it's very, very cool and very in at the moment. So it's quite cool that we have our own Kawaii shop here in Maastricht. So do pop along, and while you're there, you can also check out the fabulous Oile Concept store. Great coffee and cakes and lots of fun stuff to kind of explore and enjoy. So those are a couple of things for this weekend.
Excellent stuff. And I would like to do a big shout out actually to the Museum of Illusions, because they've just celebrated their first birthday. Can you believe? I know, because we had them on the show a year ago when they first opened.
Is it that long ago? God.
It is. So, they've just had their first year. So happy birthday to them. Worth having a look. Pop in and see them. You'll find them at, for goodness sake, I've forgotten the name of it. Where is it?
Mosquito Forum.
Mosquito Forum, thank you. Oh, goodness. You'll find them there. Pop in. There's all sorts of interesting stuff going on. And you can wish them happy birthday as well. So there's something else you could be doing this weekend as well. Right, well, we've come to the end of the show. Thank you very much for joining us. We've been talking about mosquitoes. We've been talking about herbal remedies. And happy birthday to Adam's wife, who is celebrating her 50th today. Oh, yes. So if you've got your aloe vera, if you've got some basil and you've got some garlic and you've got a mozzie bite you need to get sorted, one of those three apparently will sort it out.
There you go.
Other remedies are available.
Good.
We have a lovely weekend.
Don't listen to us. Go to Anita. She knows a lot more about it than we do.
That's right.
She probably does. Have a lovely weekend. Have a lovely week, whatever it is that you're doing. We shall be back next Thursday. Matt, I believe you're going to still be in the UK.
I will be, yeah.
Excellent. We wouldn't have known it. I mean, there's nothing Welsh there at all. Really, you should have something, a dragon.
I'm wearing red.
No, get Tom Jones. You've got a week to get Tom Jones on the show with you. We expect to see him on the sofa as well. Have a wonderful week, whatever it is you're doing. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next Thursday.
Guys.
Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.